All right, everybody, welcome back to News Now from Fox. We're actually going to be departing West Virginia and heading out to Pennsylvania, where Dr. Mike Cirigliano is this morning. Dr. Mike, thank you so much for joining us again this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Vaccines are coming. There's light. It's all good.
We keep saying that, Dr. Mike. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. It is the beginning of the end. But is it so? We've been distributing vaccines for what, a month now?
Well, here's the deal. No one said it was going to be easy. And the bottom line is there's two major issues going on right now. One is getting the vaccine out, distribution, and production, manufacturing. So we have a momentous task ahead of us, getting people to get the vaccine and having vaccine available to give to the people. So those are the things that are going to have to be managed aggressively as if it was wartime. And by the way, Pilar, it is a war against the virus.
Out here in Central Florida, I've been paying attention very closely to our sister station, Fox 35's reports. There simply just aren't enough vaccines to go around. The demand is so high. And matter of fact, we were combating what's called vaccination tourism because people were coming from other states here to Florida to try to get the vaccine. Are other states experiencing that issue as well?
Well, in Pennsylvania, it's hard for Pennsylvanians to get the vaccine so far. So I don't know if anyone's coming here from somewhere else. I have to tell you, Florida has been ahead of the curve. I think if you look at the data, certain states are doing very, very well, really giving out shots, vaccinations in an amazingly good way, and others are lagging far behind. This is where, in my humble opinion, we need a federal, we need an overseer to get the job done. We have to get a unified approach so that everyone gets their fair share of vaccines and there is a plan. And if we do that, then we go to the manufacturers and say, let's ramp up production. And there we go. There was a recent study that just came out showing, okay, so if we have a limited amount of vaccines, who should get them? And they found that to reduce the number of deaths, people over the age of 60 should be prioritized. That's kind of what we're doing right now. And they found that also, this is very interesting, if someone had the virus and has circulating antibodies, they can wait in some instances up to 3 months before they get their vaccine because they are considered protected. Now, this is all in the face of these variants out there, which are causing some, in Italian, Pilar, the word is agita. That means a little bit of stomach discomfort because some of them may or may not be as receptive to the effects of the vaccine as others. And that has a lot of people looking very carefully at that.
Yeah, Dr. Mike, you were talking about how some states are doing extremely well. One of them, we aired a story this morning talking about how Wisconsin is already entering phase 1B. Those states who are having a successful rollout, what can they attribute that to?
Well, I think it's a matter of logistics, organization, having the ability to mass vaccinate. And so if you look at it, and from my own experience, I have no vaccines in my office. And to be honest with you, I don't feel that I am really equipped to do this job. What states are doing that are being successful is they're having mass immunization centers where they are designed and set up for people to come in and come out. Now, I am very proud of the fact that when I received my shot here at the University of Pennsylvania, it was a military operation. You got an invite. You showed up at a certain time. You had to be there. You walked in line. You got everything taken care of, all your documentation. You got your shot, and then they watched you for 15 minutes. If you had an allergic reaction, there was an area set aside, Pilar, so that you could be immediately taken care of. I just don't think we have that capability in a lot of doctors' offices, which makes me really think that for now, in the critical time, we're going to need these centers where they are focused not on dealing with people's toenail fungus, but also only dealing with vaccination.
Dr. Mike, if you've either gotten one or both doses of the vaccine, because I happen to know people who have gotten both doses, can you still spread the virus? You know, we're talking about being asymptomatic.
$1 million question, probably yes. With all of the variants out there, there's a lot of concern about the fact that one, certainly you can get reinfected. That's number one. And number two, remember the concept of the vaccine is to reduce your risk of having severe illness. You don't want to end up on a ventilator in a hospital, overtaxing our hospital systems. So that's the concept. You can still spread the virus. And so even if you got your 2 shots, you still have to wear a mask. You have to socially distance until we reach herd immunity. And depending on who you talk to, that's anywhere from 60 to 80% of the population has been vaccinated. And so that is a very important thing to remember. This isn't going to change overnight. We're not going to go back to normal until most of the population, the vast majority, have been vaccinated. Very, very important.
We've been hearing so far with these different strains, or as the virus mutates, that the current vaccinations are going to remain effective. Is that expected to continue on?
Well, we think so. Now, there is this South African strain that is being watched very carefully. If you listen to Dr. Fauci, he basically says that so far we think we're in pretty good shape with these vaccines. They are studying them as we speak. Now, couple things that he said that I thought were very, very intriguing and important. Number one, the 2 vaccines that we have been using and giving out, Moderna and Pfizer, 95% effective. So even if the variants are not affected in that level of protection, we have some room, we have wiggle room. So even if there is some resistance to these vaccines, getting the vaccine is still the right thing to do and very, very important. Now, Pilar, I'm going to look into my crystal ball. I'm going to pretend I'm Dr. House. Remember him? He wasn't a very nice person, but a very good doctor. And the bottom line is, I think that we're going to get yearly COVID-19 vaccines. I think it's going to be just like the flu shot. So when, Pilar, you come to my office and you say, hey, Dr. Mike, it's time for my flu shot. Yes, flu shot and your COVID-19 vaccine, because viruses tend to mutate. It's a natural thing, and they may mutate to the point where we have to change up these vaccines. But good news is these vaccines can be altered fairly quickly, and some published reports indicate it could only take up to 6 weeks to modify them enough to go after and protect the current variants that we are seeing. So very encouraging news on that front.
Dr. Mike, you can always read my mind, because that's the exact next thing that I was going to ask you, was how long the protection was expected to last with these current vaccines that are going out. So thank you.
Well, we don't know. Even if the virus didn't change, say it stayed stable, which it's not, we don't really know. Some indication it could be a year, I would hope, but we don't know. What is more disconcerting is that the virus could mutate. And there's some indications. Remember plasma therapy, where people that got the virus would donate plasma for the antibodies? Well, there's some indication that that may not be as effective with some of these new variants because they have changed. And so we're going to watch it very carefully, and this may change some of our modalities of treatment. But we are watching it, and I am very confident that the smart people in the world will come up with the right way to deal with variants should and when they come about.
Dr. Mike, I was hearing there's 2 additional vaccines currently being studied right now. I think it was AstraZeneca and one other in development, talking about how there's only 1 dose, 1 shot to take. How much of a game changer is that going to be?
Well, if you can think about it, the other vaccine I think you're referring to is Johnson and Johnson. So Johnson and Johnson has a vaccine that seems to be very effective. We already know that AstraZeneca is that vaccine's being given out everywhere but here in the United States. And so basically these should be effective. And the fact that the Johnson and Johnson vaccine is only one shot, beautiful. Oh my goodness, think about the logistical improvement there. You don't have to worry about people coming back for their second dose. Now, on that topic, there was just another bit of information coming out from the Centers for Disease Control saying, look, if you don't get in to get your second shot immediately in the 21 days or 28 days that are recommended, you have up to about 6 weeks. You don't want to get it too soon, and you don't want to get it too late, but there is some wiggle room. So, boy, that would be a game changer, Pilar, because if you can only have to give one shot, boy, you're one, done, see you later, maybe next year.
All right, Dr. Mike Cirigliano with Penn Medicine, thank you so much for joining us live again here on News Now from Fox, and have a great weekend.
Pilar, it's my honor and pleasure, and I love talking with you. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone, we're taking a live look now at Chicago, Illinois. Most of you are going to see a 2-minute commercial break. We'll see you when you return.